guys. This is a great night, and I think there's a few things that we really need to remember about what was happening at that time, what was happening in the world at that special moment in time when we were all here and all fighting together. We had a gentleman, we had Dave Yeager introduce us to what it was like to be an Fracassa guy, what it took to be a Fracassa guy. And Dave Yeager was the hardest coach I think I've ever had in my life. I mean, we had 75 guys on the freshman team, and Dave Yeager was the only coach on that team. And we were undefeated. We had a lot of close games, but Dave was the toughest guy, and indoctrinated all of us into what it would take to be a Brother Rice guy, what it would take to be an Al Fracassa guy, really. And I was so grateful, and I was so glad that season was over, because it was murder. It was the toughest season. And Dave, thank you, because honestly, God, every one of us will agree, and especially all the older guys here. I know we have our juniors and seniors and sophomores here of that special year. But the Vietnam War was happening. People were afraid to tell kids what to do. And we came to Brother Rice, and we were told exactly what to do. And it was the best thing that could have happened to all of us. And Coach, as we got older, he told us what was expected and what we were going to do and when we were going to do it and how it was going to be done. And as freshmen, I know a lot of you guys will remember, but Coach had Pat Simmons and Brian Pulte look at our logo and fix the logo, because we had this awful big-nosed warrior chief with these feathers going all over the place. It was awful. It was politically incorrect. It was the worst logo you could ever get. He had Brian Pulte and Pat Simmons work on it for a week, and they unveiled it, and it's the logo that we all know now. It's the best. It's the Sheldon Broadley approved it finally, and it's the best logo in football. Not in high school football, not in college football, not in pro football. The best football logo is the Brother Rice Warrior, and everybody tells me that wherever I go. And knowing that, Coach, Coach really wanted us to be. We wanted to really put all of the emphasis of what it took to be champions right away. Our sophomore year, we took some missteps. Our junior year, we took some missteps, and our senior year, we said, you know what, this isn't going to happen again. We're not going to allow this to happen. So we had this meeting. Ted and Tom and I, all the seniors got together with your juniors, Danny and John Cataract, all you guys. We got together and we said, you know what, we watched the last 2 seasons. We squandered opportunities to be a great team. And we watched it happen. We watched it happen twice. When we were sophomores, we lost to U of D. The last time we ever lost to U of D was when we were sophomores. And it has never happened since. And what an awful thing to carry, what an awful burden to carry around for the rest of your life. But we had this meeting, and we all sat down, and we said, there's not going to be any, we were allowed, legally, we were all allowed to drink. It was an 18-year-old, we were allowed to drink. 18-year-old, we voted, and it was, you could go out and have a beer. So we're all sitting there talking, and we said, there's not going to be any more drinking on this team. August 1st, that's the end of it. That's it. Nobody's going to do anything. We're completely committed till the very end of this season for this team. And that's it. There won't be any drinking, nothing going on. So everybody's like, yeah, that makes sense. And we're looking around the room, and Mark Kochanski's like labored. He kind of goes, he raises his hand, and Ted calls on him. He says, what's the problem? I just want to make sure that I understand this completely. Do you mean that, like, when I come home from a hard day of listening to Al yelling and screaming at me all day, I'm going to come home and I'm going to not be able to have a beer with my dad? And all the, Ted and Tom and I said, yeah, that's exactly what we mean. We're not going to have nothing until that last day are we going to have any of that going on. And that's really what happened. That's right. We were talking about it last night, and Mike Cullen said, he was like, I don't know if that's possible. I don't know that that's a realistic thing. It's like part of my DNA. It's part of my fabric. So it was really funny, and we're in getting together and watching the film today. We're all together and having Jay McGlinchey give kind of a play-by-play as we're going. The wonderful film sessions. We had we were watching film together, all of us as a team, and the lights would turn, or the projector would turn off, and there'd be this like long silence. And we're like, oh shit. What did Coach notice that we didn't do right? And the first thing that came up was like, and Jay hit it on the head today. He says, Coach Popson, do we have ass blocking in our program? Do we teach ass blocking here? And there's like this long side, and Mr. Popson goes, no, Al, there's no ass blocking on this team. He goes, oh, what do you think just happened on that last play? And Mr. Popson, I think there was a lot of ass blocking. We don't teach that here. So we worked on that, and I think you all remember when those lights went out. It was like it was tough. Like the lights went out, and there was this long silence. We're like, oh my God, what did I do? What did I do wrong? One of my favorite stories too that came up again today, and I want everybody to share their stories, because there's so many that really we should write down someday. But it was in the middle of the season. It looked like we were really going to get going and get something really special, and we all knew we were special, but it was starting to come to fruition. We're on the field on Sunday, and Sunday was a great day for practice for all of us. It was like a celebration, but we were getting back to work. We're getting the bumps out, getting the poison out, as Coach would say, and everybody's on the field, and Coach is looking at his watch, and he's like, where's Kurt Griffin? It's Kurt Griffin. I think it was after the Notre Dame game. And Kurt had caught 2 touchdown passes that game. And Matt Lyons, Coach, Kurt told me that he wanted me to tell you that he worked really hard on the game Saturday, and he'll be out there when he's damn well ready. So. We know Kurt didn't say that, so we're all like what the? So Kurt comes out, he's like smiling just like he always does. And he's smiling, big grin, and Coach is looking at him, and Coach, thankfully knew right away that Matt threw him under the bus. That was good. But there was, it was so wonderful about every one of you guys, and I love every single one of you guys. Look at those pictures, and there's not a single guy on that team that I wouldn't do anything for. I mean, it's the most remarkable group of men that I've ever been together with, and it doesn't happen. We all take it for granted, but you'll never see it again. It's a remarkable thing that we had. Our grass drills, just warming up, was a competition. Like, who was going to win the grass drill, like a 5-yard sprint. The agility drills were, people were throwing themselves into the baseline in the gym just so they could win, so that Coach Fracassa would acknowledge that, yes, you did win that. Who won that? Every single one of you guys. And Coach had this uncanny ability to make every one of us feel vital and important. And if somebody wasn't there, and if somebody was misstepping, or somebody's having trouble at home, or you're having trouble in school, he wanted you to know that this was your family, and this was, everybody here loved you, and everybody cared about you, and every single one of us were vital to the team, and that's a wonderful thing that has never, I don't think I've ever seen it on any team I've been on before or since. It's a remarkable thing, and I know you all know what I'm talking about. So hopefully I want you to come up and tell your stories about Coach and what you know, and about each other, and I just like to keep this going because there's so many things we want. The best thing about Brother Rice, though, this is really important. Brother Rice, the definition, when Al Fracassa came here, this school was a ship without a rudder. There was not, the expectations for people were not what they were, what they are now. The expectations now are excellence in everything. And when Coach came here, he established that can-do attitude, that excellence, like striving for excellence, and maybe not being able to achieve it, but always wanting to be excellent. And that's what happened, and it's pervasive here. And it started with that, because before he got here, my brother Bill was on this first team in 1969. Brother Rice was not a powerhouse like it is now. It was not a school that expected excellence in academics and in athletics. It was not that way. And Coach brought that here, and it took off like wildfire because it was ready. It took off like wildfire because Al Fracassa established it here. And the debate team and the basketball team and the track team, it all followed suit. And it happened because of that perfect storm and this perfect group of guys that came here, all bought into it, and we established it. And I really believe, and that's why this team is so special, is because it started with you guys. It really did. And I love every one of you guys, and I talk too much, and I'm sorry, but I'm done. So please come up and talk.